you can do a lot in 10-15 minutes, right? There's really no excuses. Putting aside 10-15 minutes a day just to open up a little bit, to stretch out. You know, there's that whole hunching over and the driving and, you know, at the computer, which I'm a lot, and, you know, at any time I might be relaxed sitting out at dinner, we seem to be always doing this. And Fortified's told me and taught me, it's like we need to do this a little bit.
Welcome to part 2 of the Fortified interview series. I'm Tamas Finta. My guest today is Brad, who is a busy businessman and dad who has to be at 3 places at a time to look after the business and the family as well. Brad, we met about 4 years ago when my wife and I found your awesome superfood mix, which we loved so much that we actually became one of your distributors. Now I know that your partner Jeannie and you are working 7 days a week in the business, and you also have 4 kids. So what are the big challenges and obstacles you guys have to face day to day, and how do you overcome them?
Yeah, well, I guess first of all, we've just decided to take off every second Saturday. So for the last 6 years, it's been 7 days a week, but we're now taking every second Saturday off, we're alternating. But yeah, look, I think it's in small business and family, you're always required to be there for each other, and you become somewhat a team. We work to each other's strengths. But the challenging part is I guess it's keeping up the energy for the grind. You know, you've got in small business this day, the landscape has changed. You know, you've got to be on top of social media, and you've got to have production crews, you've got to have procurement officers, and being a small business, you wear many, many hats. So the challenge is coming home and trying to leave work at home, and then actually being together as a family, because yeah, that's probably the most important thing we have as a team.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we met in a coffee shop, and although we were there to discuss the business opportunity, I think it took us about 10 or 15 minutes to start talking about physical fitness instead of what we were meant to discuss. Yes. Because both of us just felt so strongly about being fit and looking after ourselves. How did it all start for you?
I was very lucky to grow up in a sort of like a sporting family. My dad was an athlete when he was younger. My mum was really active, and I guess they had the genes to be good at what they did. I wouldn't say they were stars, but they fit into any team sort of sports and held their own. And I think at an early age, I got into soccer. Wherever we went on holidays, we always played cricket. We're always outdoors doing, you know, sporting activities as a family. So really as an early child, sport was just a daily activity, just a normal part of our lives.
So would you say your parents, the way they live their lives, shaped your decisions or put you on the path of physical activity?
Yeah, I think it's somewhat ingrained. You know, it becomes sort of just the way of life. I mean, my parents would have their after-school or after-work sport. So I know they played together in a netball team for a while. They played, both played basketball after work. Touch football, and this, you know, that was when they were in their late 30s. You know, we were still quite young, and we would go on and we'd emulate them, and we'd play on the same field, and it was a very much a social thing to bring in their friends and sport at the same time. Yeah.
I know that you were very heavily into martial arts. How did martial arts shape you as a man?
It's made me who I am today. It had a significant impact in my life. I think moving on from young sporting, soccer, moved into competitive sports, to you know, a very high level in basketball and Aussie rules, and my brother a very high level in rugby league. And then when I was, I guess about 18 or 19, I moved away from the nest of home and sort of that sporting arena. I actually lost my way a little bit. It was more become a focus on life and making income and working and partying with my friends, and sport took a back seat because it was pretty much as a 4 or 5 year old right through to 19-year-old, sport was every day. Right. Sunday, Saturday, weekends, out at the front. And when I was about 24, 25, I had a relationship break up and sort of said, I've got to put myself back on the market again. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was close to 100 kilos. My life as a young man was probably a natural weight around about under 75. And yeah, I didn't really like what I saw. And martial arts was, not only did it help me look good again or make myself feel good again, it actually taught me a lot of discipline, more than I ever had learned before. It was instrumental in my my life, becoming a man. Yeah.
Now we talked about how busy you guys are 7 days a week with the markets and the warehouse. You do the marketing, you take the kids to the footy games, drop them off to school. So how does exercise fit in your life these days?
Yeah, it's you know, they always sort of say if you can't look after yourself, well, don't look after yourself first, how can you look after others? But to be honest, most of my peers who are fathers, whether they work for themselves or what they do, they're just as busy. Like being a dad is really, really busy. It's 24/7. We have a little bit of luck where, well, not luck, our situation is we're blended family. So I bring 2 to the table, Jeannie brings 2 to the table, and then there's 2 significant other role models, they're parents. So we do get little breaks, you know, where I don't have to play mum and dad. And that's when I think Jeannie and I like to, you know, explore exercise and things like doing fun stuff. Like Jeannie walks the dogs. I probably don't walk as much as she does because she does it early in the morning. I like to sleep in bed, especially when it's cold like this. But things like surfing when in the warmer months, and you know, just when we're not doing those things together and we are with the kids, it's kicking the footy with the kids, and you know, one might be playing, one we're throwing the ball. So it's sort of like a lifestyle thing, similar to sort of what I did with my dad, and following in those same sort of footsteps. You don't just go to training and watch the kids play training. You get in there and you want to have a kick the footy as well, and have a bit of a wrestle with the kids. So.
You were also one of the very first guys trying out the Fortified mobility drills, strength methods. Is there anything you got out of our Fortified program?
Yeah, definitely. There's when I have the mindset to be really focused on myself and to my own learning. There's a lot of what I've realized is that you can do a lot in 10-15 minutes, right? There's really no excuses. Putting aside 10-15 minutes a day just to open up a little bit, to stretch out. You know, there's that whole hunching over and the driving, and, you know, at the computer, which I'm a lot, and, you know, at any time I might be relaxed sitting having dinner, we seem to be always doing this. And Fortified's told me and taught me, it's like we need to do this a little bit, need to stand up and to learn how to breathe again. You know, it reminded me about martial arts, and more to the point is specific techniques without hurting myself. It's just going to provide mobility and energy through the day. So Fortified taking just 10-15 minutes, it's all it takes, and being consistent with it is one of the big takeouts with Fortified, and couldn't highly recommend enough. You know, whatever you do, but being consistent with 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes a day, and just do it. I have to admit, I don't often get there and do that, and I guess that comes part and parcel, being a dad and a partner and helping support Jeannie's business, and you know, being that support role. It's sometimes you give in to laziness, you know, but every time you can have that mindset and just start, that's the hardest thing, is just to start, because when you're doing it, you feel so much better every time.
Thanks, Brad. Thank you for sharing your the story with us. Now, what I'd like to finish with is there a message you would like to give our audience, other 40+ guys out there who are busy running their business, busy with parenting, What is the message you would share with them?
Look, I think we're all busy, and with being busy, it's hard to always make the time for yourself and commit to yourself to stay mobile and stay active. And probably the message would be, don't beat yourself up, but get support, find community, find an activity that sort of keeps you accountable, get a coach, get someone that can sort of keep you on your toes, make it fun, don't make it something that's impossible or something you regret or don't like doing, like, coming home completely sore. So it's almost impossible to do it on your own. You have to be so strong in the mindset, and I envy people like yourself that can just do it as a discipline day in and day out. So I need a buddy, I need a coach, I need support, and I need to have fun. And if you don't put that in place, it's really, really hard to stick to it, to stick to the plan.
Right. Thank you, Brad. Thanks very much. Guys, Brad Hall, busy dad and businessman. We will be back with another episode of the Fortified interview series. Thank you very much for watching.